today is yoga for anxiety. We're going to do a 60-minute moving and breathing class and then read from Pixie Lighthorse at the end. So just move, breathe. Let's do some breathing practices to try and get rid of some excess energy. So we're going to begin on our backs, landing on our mats. So bring your feet down, knees up. Take some wiggles, land on the ground. Start to build up sacred space. So really landing on the mat. And imagining that you have little barriers, little walls of protection right around you and your mat. For the next 60 minutes, it's going to be just you right here on the mat. Trying to give yourself a little promise that you're going to remain here on the mat. And that when your mind begins to pull you into yesterday or tomorrow, and you're just going to return to having an experience on your mat, a physical experience, an emotional experience, a breathing experience, fully present here on the mat. And then we're going to begin with 4 corners breath. So we're going to begin by bringing our breath in nice and slow and not forceful. So not really strong breath with lots of muscular action, but nice, slow, intentional breath. And we're going to move to 4 corners of our lungs, bringing our awareness to different parts of our lungs and helping us connect with the whole working body of our lungs. So begin to bring your breath all the way down to the bottom corners. And if it helps, you can place your hands just under your rib cage just to help you bring all of your awareness right to the bottom of your lungs. And bring in your breath nice and slow, filling up the bottom of your lungs. And then slowly and gently allowing all of the air to come out from the bottom. Watching and observing your stomach rise and fall with your breath. And then we'll bring our awareness to our rib cage, the sides of our lungs. So we're going to bring our hands, if you're using your hands to help you, to your rib cage, the sides of your rib cage. And we're going to imagine filling up our breath into the sides of our lungs, soft, slow, gentle. But imagine just gently pushing between each rib, really filling up the sides of our lungs. Observing our rib cage expand and contract with our breath. Then bring your awareness to your back. Imagine you could just softly lift yourself up off the ground by expanding all of the back corners of your lungs. Bringing all of your awareness to your back and filling up your back of your lungs. Then bring your awareness just in underneath your collarbones and fill up the top corners of your lungs, just gently watching your chest rise and fall with your breath. And then let all focus on your breath go. Let your hands and shoulders melt into the ground and just notice. Notice how you feel. Notice what thoughts are present. Notice your energy level. And then gently bring your knees in, give yourself a little hug, and take some movements with your feet, spreading your toes, slowly taking ankle circles, whatever feels good. And then take your feet up to the ceiling and start to pedal through the legs, starting to feel your legs and what is present. Slow, soft breath. Now we'll begin by warming up the stomach, the core muscles. So taking your feet up to the ceiling, start to fire up the legs. You're going to press the hips down into the ground with the stomach muscles. Start to fire up the stomach, press the rib cage down. Arms can be out to the sides. We're going to move and breathe, and this is designed to generate heat and fire in the core. So we want to get all the work in the stomach and not in the back. So we're going to inhale as we slowly lower the right leg down to the ground. Exhale as we bring it back up. Inhale as you slowly lower the left. Exhale as you bring it back up. Keeping all the work in the stomach. If you're beginning to use the neck or the lower back, don't lower the legs so close to the ground. Move really slowly with your breath. Complete a full round, and then bring your knees in. Give yourself a little hug. Land your feet on the ground, about hip width, nice distance from your glutes so that your back is nice and comfortable. Making sure you're pressing the shoulders down into the ground. You're going to inhale as you lift the hips. Exhale as you lower, trying to find the stomach muscles to lift the hips as well as firing up the glutes and the back of the legs. Try to keep that nice curve in your neck. Working with your breath. Lower the hips, bring the knees back in. Another little hug, reset. And then roll on over to a side and make your way to a tabletop position. We're going to inhale in tabletop, exhale, child's pose shape. Moving again with the breath, inhaling forward, exhaling back. Starting to really land on your mat and notice what is present in the physical body. Take any side sways or adjustments of weight, movements through the spine that feel like They are what you need in your body in this moment. Starting to take autonomy over your practice, over your shape, over what is going on your own mat. And then come on forward to a tabletop shape. Set up so you're lifting up out of the ground with muscular action. You're pulling through your chest. Your stomach is strong. And we're going to take the right leg, even with the hip. Fire up the right leg. Lift the left arm. Balance and breathe. Can stay here. If you'd like a little bit more of a challenge, take the left arm even with the shoulder and draw the right heel towards the right wrist. Breathe and balance. Lower the left hand, take the right leg even with the hip, bend the knee, and little pulses of the heel to the ceiling. Look for buckling in the shoulders. Lift up out of the ground, nice and strong in the shoulders and arms. Lower the toes and press through the heel, little pulses or static. Return the right knee, take a little reset and set up for the other side. So lifting up out of the ground, strong and active through the chest and stomach. Left leg lifts, strong left leg, and then right leg up. Right arm up, sorry. Challenge right arm even with the shoulder and draw the left heel towards the left wrist without buckling through the shoulder. So you have to really engage through the side body. Breathe and balance. Right hand returns, left leg even with the hip, bend the knee and heel palms to the ceiling. Again, watch for buckling in the back and buckling through the shoulders. Want to keep strong and active, lifting through the hip and the glute. And then lower the toes, press through the heels, static or little pulses. And then bring the left knee back, tuck the toes, find your first down dog, warm it up in whichever manner feels right for you in this moment. Pedaling the legs, swaying the hips. And then find the stillness of down dog. Connect to your head below your heart. Long, slow breaths. We're going to start to move and breathe from here. So bending the knees a little. Inhale as you come forward, high plank. Exhale as you pull from the tailbone and come back to down dog. Inhale, forward, high plank. Exhale, pull from the tailbone, back. Moving with your breath. Maybe even experimenting with a little pause after the exhale. Inhale, forward. Exhale. Maybe a gentle hold. If this is too much, drop down and go back to tabletop child's. And then hold the down dog. Bend the knees. Look towards the hands and step the right foot outside of the right hand, left foot outside of the left hand. You can use your blocks here. Keeping the hips low, we're going to move through the hips and the legs. Eventually coming down towards a Malasana. Slow, warm it up, feel your hips, feel your feet. And then inhale deeply, press through the heels, lift all the way up, arms overhead, exhale, prayer to heart. Inhale, arms overhead, exhale, prayer to heart. Inhale, arms overhead, exhale, prayer to heart. Hold a wide leg mountain pose. From here, a little bend in the knees, opening up the legs just a little. So we're still wide leg. We're not goddess legs, just a little wide. Stomach engaged. Start to really activate the legs. We're going to take the toes of the right foot, turn them in, and then turn them out. Left foot, turn them in, turn them out. So you're spinning on the heel of the foot. So it looks like this. In, out. Slow. Feel your legs. In and out. Hands can be a prayer. Not quite goddess legs, a little bit closer together. We're trying to find the muscles that make this movement happen. Connecting to your legs, and then come on up, wide like mountain. Inhale, press your prayer up. Maybe even a little tilt. Bring your prayer down through center all the way to the ground. Touch the ground. Step back, plank pose. Hold the plank. Nice and strong, breathe. And then back to down dog. Bend the knees, step or hop forward. Land your feet hip width apart. Forward fold, maybe bring your torso all the way down to your thighs with a deep bend in your knees. Let the tension out of the neck. Breathe. Pressing down into the heels, lift up halfway. Inhale, exhale, fold. Inhale, lift, pressing through the back of the legs. Exhale, fold. And then inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead. Prayer to heart. Hold your mountain pose. Time, inhale, send your prayer up overhead and hold. Maybe press the hips a little further forward, a little tiny bend. Breathe. Bring your prayer back to neutral and slowly down to your heart. Inhale up, this time all the way down through center. Touch the ground. Step back, high plank. Hold a high plank. Down dog. Breathe. Slowly lift the right leg high, nice and strong and active in the right leg. Lifting high, high, high. And then bend the knees, step through for a low lunge. Find your blocks if you have them. Inhale forward in a low lunge shape. Exhale, sending right leg towards straight. Taking any angles and movements that feel right in your body right now. Moving with your breath, maybe even adding that gentle pause at the end of the exhale. Bring it through to a low lunge shape. If you have your blocks, hold on to your blocks, but don't dump into your blocks. Nice and strong and active in both legs. So left leg very active, stomach very active. Pulling up out of this right hip, really pulling up out of the ground, long in the torso. We're going to take little tiny movements here. So we're going to send our body a little bit more over the right leg and then pull back. Inhale forward, exhale, pull back. It's a small movement. We're trying to keep this right leg really engaged. You should begin to feel it right in the right hip. So maybe adding a little more bend in the left leg as you move. It's a tiny movement. Inhale, exhale. And then come forward, low lunge. Inhale, rise up, high lunge. Exhale, pray to heart. Hold. You're going to work with a breath practice here, so it may be beneficial to pop that back leg in a little bit so your base is more stable. Bend the knee. We want all of this movement and strength to happen in the stomach muscles and in the legs, not in the low back and especially not across the sacrum. So watch for that. We're trying to work through, strengthen the lower body. So bringing the torso a little bit further forward over this right leg. Engage and lengthen through the torso. Hands are apart hard. So two options with our hands. We can interlace our hands, press our hands away. If this is too much for your wrists, just press your hands away, not interlace. So like this or like this. Press your hands away. We're going to inhale, draw into our heart. Exhale, press our hands away. And we're going to start to move with the torso. Inhale, exhale, press. Draw into our heart. Exhale, press what we don't need. Drawing fresh. Exhale, press. Strong legs. Maybe a little pause at the end of the exhale. And then bring it back. Regular high lunge, hands at prayer. Slowly bring the weight over the front leg. Maybe pop up that back leg a little. Maybe all the way to warrior three. Strong legs, strong core, long torso. Bend the back knee. Slowly bring the left knee past the right and then all the way up to stand. Left leg active. If you're ready just to go down to mountain pose, if this right leg is starting to get tired, go ahead. Otherwise, we're going to either keep our hands out to the side for balance or hands at prayer. We're going to draw the right heel over to the right and then push it to the left. Inhale over to the right, exhale, push. Trying to keep your hips stable. And then lower the left foot down. Tap out the right foot. Tuck the toes of the right foot under. Land the top of the foot on the ground and then pull forward without letting the foot move. So you're really pulling across the muscles of the front of the foot. If you like, you can make this a little deeper by taking the foot further away from you. Landing the top of the foot on the ground and then pulling the hips forward too. So you can take this all the way into the front of the hip. Breathe. And then slowly come back. Mountain pose. Connect with your breath. Inhale, arms up overhead.
Exhale, prayer to heart, gentle pause. Inhale up. Hold the mountain pose, hands of prayer. Inhale, prayer up through center. Look up. Exhale, fold. Prayer back through center. Touch the ground, high plank. Hold the high plank. And then back to down dog. Connect with your breath. Notice any changes in the physical body. Notice left and right hips. Notice any warmth or energy. Slowly lift the left leg high, extending and lengthening the left leg out of the ground. Stomach strong, arms strong, chest strong. Breathe. And then step through low lunge and set up for the other side. Inhaling, low lunge, exhaling, left leg towards straight. Moving with your breath. You're going to add in your gentle pause at the end of the exhale. Taking any wiggles and shapes and angles that feel right for you in your body right now. And then set up in your low lunge really strong. So lifting up out of the ground all the way through this left leg. Torso long, active stomach. If you're using the blocks, fingertips are just resting. Not dumping in and resting on the leg and dumping into the joints, but long and strong and active. Small movement forward. Inhale, forward. Exhale, pull back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, pull back. Everything should be strong and active, and you should begin to feel it right up into the left hip, around the glute. Small movement. Slow, controlled, moving with our breath. Come into a low lunge and then a deep inhale, rise up, high lunge. Exhale, prayer to heart, hold. Setting up for that same breath practice, maybe popping in the back leg, making sure your legs are really strong and active and stable first. Then bring the torso over the front leg. We're going to press our hands away. Inhale, draw our hands into our heart. Exhale, press away. This time, really add that little pause. Little pause. Inhale. Exhale. Little pause. Bring it back in. High lunge. Weight over the front leg. Begin to actively draw that right heel up. Maybe all the way to warrior three. Lengthen. And the back leg. Slowly bring the right knee past the left all the way up to stand. Knee lifted. Leg active. Inhale, draw the right heel towards the left. Exhale, draw it to the right. Inhale, draw it to the left. Exhale to the right. Leg is active. Finding muscles. Challenging your balance.
foot down and tap out the left. Tuck the left toes under, either close to you, land the foot, and then pull forward or a little bit further back so you can pull through the front of the entire leg, including the left hip. And then bring it back, mountain pose, and connect with your breath. Inhale up, exhale, purr heart. Hold your prayer at heart center. Inhale, prayer up through center. Exhale, prayer all the way down through center. Touch the ground. Step back, high plank. And then lower all the way down slowly to crocodile pose. Stomach down, one hand on top of the other, forehead down, and shimmy the hips. What can you let go of? We'll move and breathe here, using all of the muscles of our back line. So hands are wherever our shoulders are comfortable. I'm going to fire up all of the back muscles, all of the back of the legs, the glutes, and we're going to inhale and lift the shoulders and exhale, lower. Inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. Trying not to take all the tension into the neck, not thinking about lifting the neck, lifting the head, but lifting the shoulders. Maybe even beginning to lift the feet up off the ground. And then bring it up to wherever you can comfortably hold with strong back muscles. And we're going to take tiny little twists here. You can keep your hands down or you can keep them up and active. We're going to take our right shoulder towards our right hip, back through center, inhale, and then exhale, left shoulder towards left hip. Small, controlled, tiny movement, trying to find that little tiny muscle group between the rib and the hip. It's not a tiny muscle group, but that space between the rib and the hip. And then bring it down to crocodile pose. This time shimmy the hips. And what can you let go of? Maybe taking some very intentional inhales and exhale, sigh it out of your mouth. Slowly make your way all the way back to child's pose. A little rest in child's pose and then up to down dog. We're going to pump up the heart rate and the strength a little bit more for just a little bit. So bending the knees, we're going to take right foot outside right hand, left foot outside left hand. Press through the legs. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, all the way back down. Step back. Right foot back, left foot back. Right foot forward, left foot forward. Inhale as you rise all the way up. Exhale, back. Right foot back, left foot back. Right foot forward, left foot forward. Pressing, active, strong legs. Inhale, exhale. Right foot back, left foot back. Right foot forward, left foot forward. Press, inhale. Exhale. Right foot back, left foot back. This time, left foot forward, right foot forward. Inhale, press. Exhale, fold. Left foot back, right foot back. Left foot forward, right foot forward. Inhale, lift. Exhale, back. left foot back, right foot back. Left foot forward, right foot forward. Inhale, press. Exhale, fold. Left foot back, right foot back. Left foot forward. Last one. Right foot forward. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Left foot back, right foot back. Hold the plank. And then step back forward, left foot forward, right foot forward, Malasana, yogi squat. You can hold on to your block with your hands. You can place your block in between your hips. Hold a yogi squat. So try and get really tall in the torso. If you're gonna press into your legs with your arms, try pressing back into your legs, into your arms with your legs. So you have this push-pull, active strengthening. You can bring mudras to your hands, touching index fingers to thumbs. Breathe. If you wish to play with a crow pose, you're going to bring your hands onto the ground about shoulder width apart. So hopefully you can get your legs up high on your upper arm. So just practice coming forward and bringing your legs up high onto the upper arm. Press the legs into the upper arms. So just start to press into the upper arms and start to take some weight into the arms. Start with that. And then maybe starting to balance. So thinking of a cat-cow pose. So a cow is when the chest is low. The cat is when your chest is pulling up out of the ground. So bring all of your balance into the core muscles that are close to the spine, pulling back towards the spine with all of your strength. That's where your balance comes from. So bringing your arms forward, shoulders strong, lifting up out of the ground, knees up as high on your upper arms as you can get them. Pull up out of the ground, and the more that you pull, the easier your toes just pop up off the ground. Lift, breathe, balance. And then when you're done playing, come on down to a seated position. Bring your legs out in front and give them some wiggles. Take your legs a little bit wider than hip width. Lift up out of the ground, and a little pull as if you're pulling the kneecaps out of the ground. So a little pull, making your legs active. We're going to bring our hands interlaced onto our heart space from here. Legs are active, base is strong. And think of drawing in fresh energy and pushing away any excess energy we no longer need. Inhale, and then push hands away, just as we were doing before. Inhale, draw into your heart. Exhale, push. Maybe even a gentle pause at the end of the exhale. Bring your hands one at a time over the heart center. Focus right here. Imagine the warmth of your hands could soften any tension across the chest and the shoulders. And then both soles of the feet onto the ground in a comfortable position. So you're comfortable here. We're going to move a little softer with our breath. You're going to take an inhale. Our both hands are going to be opposite sides of our hips, so somewhat close to your hips. Plant the left hand. Exhale as you sweep the right hand over and maybe lift the hips. Inhale back through center. Exhale, sweep and lift. Take this movement in whichever way begins to feel right in your body, opening up side body, lifting the hips. Honoring where you're at. Maybe you don't lift the hips at all. Maybe you're inhaling center and exhaling, sweeping your arm across the body and just opening up side body, leaving your hips where they are. Bring it back through center and slowly make your way down onto your back. So all the hard work is done. Land on your back. Notice what is different. Take some side sways with the knees. See how the hips feel. And then take the right knee over the left. Bring the knees towards the chest and pull opposite feet towards the shoulder with the muscles. And then you can place your hands on your legs. Breathe into the glute piriformis space on the right side. Imagine drawing all of your fresh breath energy down to your hip. And exhaling, sweeping away any tension, all that is no longer needed. Slowly unravel and take left over right. Draw the knees in towards the chest, pull the feet to opposite shoulders, and then you can rest your hands. Breathe in fresh. Exhale away whatever is no longer needed. Beginning to let the tension melt out of the face. Slowly unravel and place the feet wherever the legs, hips, glutes are comfortable, especially the knees. So feet down on the ground, knees maybe knocking in towards each other, resting on each other. Try and let the shoulders melt into the ground. And you may need to wiggle your shoulder blades on the ground to really let them know where the ground is. If you have particularly tight shoulders, you may need to place something in underneath your shoulder, like a little blanket or towel, just to let your shoulder blade know where the ground is, so the muscles can start to release their tension. I like to have my palms facing the ceiling with a soft bend in my arms. We're going to think about our neck and our jaw and the places that we often hold tension. So we're going to imagine our head is filled with lead. My chin a little bit towards the ceiling with the natural curve of your neck. Try not to push the back of your neck down to the ground. So think of the natural curve of your neck. Your head is filled with lead. You're going to slowly let it roll over as if you're really filled with lead and it's hard to get your chin over to the right shoulder. When it gets there, just kind of notice what happens on the left side. Does the left shoulder pull back up off the ground? Just notice maybe soft movements with the chin, noticing if you change the angle, where is the tension in the neck? Breathe into the left side of the neck as if you're making space and softness all through the left side of the neck. Slowly, remembering your head is filled with lead, let it roll on the ground and over to the other side as slow as you can.
Letting your chin come towards the left shoulder and feeling the right side. And really noticing what happens to the right shoulder. Does it pop up? Just trying to connect with where the tension might be on the right side of the neck. Slowly bring the chin back to center. Notice any differences, left and right sides. Notice if one side was tighter than the other. Really thinking about our shoulder blades now being filled with lead, as heavy as it can possibly be, really melting onto your mat below you. We're going to take our chin, movement from our chin, and we're going to lift it just a little more, as if we're pulling it up out of the ground and a little bit towards the forehead. So a little lift while keeping our shoulder blades as melted to the ground as we can. Then push a teeny bit into the back of the head, tiny bit. Notice anything else that fires up. For me, it went all the way down into my left hip. So my compensation patterns are all the way down my spine. So trying to keep my shoulders melted. I'm going to press into the back of my head a little more. Try to use just the subtle muscles around my neck, relaxing everything else, breathing. And then take a deep breath in, and with the exhale, suddenly turn off every muscle that you can find that was working. Let go, melt into the ground. Bring any hand onto the forehead, palm of the hand to the forehead, just a teeny push. So a teeny push on the forehead, and if you're going to push, you're pushing a little bit down to the ground and a little bit towards the hairline. A teeny push. Feel the back of the head. Now bring all of your awareness around the muscles of the jaw. And see if you can bring a little more softness in around the jaw. Noticing what other muscles seem to be firing up. Try to remain a little loose, a little soft. Not too much action in the arm and shoulders. Take a really long, slow, deep breath in. And with the exhale, soften the arm back down to the ground. Let it land where it lands. Let your muscles soften. And then begin to make a choice about where you want to be for your resting pose. So begin to gather any props, anything that you need to make your resting pose your actual resting pose. So you're resting, not stretching. You're letting go, you're melting into the ground, getting as close to being a corpse as possible. Soften the muscles of the face. Soften around the eyes, around the lips. Soften all the muscles of the neck. Soften the palms of the hands. Soften around the hips. And then soften all control of the breath. Really letting your torso soften and your breath be controlled by its natural rhythm. No more intention on the breath. Bring all the awareness to the center of the mind, as if you could gently fall back from your eyesight and land in the very center of your brain. Allow space for whatever is present to be present here, greeting yourself where you're at without judgment. Noticing any thoughts that are present. Noticing any feelings that are present.
And then before softening all the way in to the mat, I'm going to read from Pixie Light Horse. So, in the world right now, I feel that there's a lot of conscious anxiety throughout the world. We're in the middle of a pandemic, and there's a lot of anxiety going on, a lot of stress, a lot of heavy emotions for a lot of people. And I think collectively, we're all feeling a lot of tension. It's been a long time. And from that fear and anxiety, I see a lot of people acting from that place of fear. And I feel that one of the ways that we can prevent ourselves from acting from this place of fear is to remember respect. Remember respect of ourselves, respect for others. Remember being kind with our thoughts, our words, our deeds. And that means to ourselves too. So for this reading today, I picked Pixie's prayer for honoring respect. Thank you for this day of reverent growth. I am seeking new ways to respect myself, you, the earth, and my dear ones. I am asking for help to know what I value and to treat it right. I'm asking for solid support in building my vocabulary and increasing my range to address all that I cherish. As I take inventory of those I deeply admire, teach me to see myself as worthy of high regard. Drive me to notice where I can develop keen listening and speak to my people with great care and consideration. Help me speak with sacredness on my mind. When I don't agree with what is being said, turn up my ability for high-frequency communication and awareness to the level that I would most love to receive when I am in the same position. Coat my larynx in the language of conserving and protecting what is truly precious. Do not discover me traveling well-worn paths of resentment. Cultivate me in a terminology of sticking to the point and helping me to see verbal violations as utterly dysfunctional. Help me receive the sentiment behind the words, because few will be able to say it like I want to hear it. Build me in tolerance for those I adore, to tap into the sweetness they attempt to convey. Protect them from my haphazard accusations of crimes they didn't commit. Help me to remember why I love them and why we are in relationship. Reform our bonds and raise my level of integrity. Remind me to offer confidentiality when called for and to hold the intimacies of my beloveds with trust. I love this world and all natural things in it. Let me see myself and those close to me as part of that immense organic beauty. Lead me in the ways of preserving and protecting what I value. Concern me less with the stories holding me accountable. Let respect inform my actions. Help me to acknowledge where I can pay more tribute. Warm my heart with a flame of reverence and gratitude for all living things. Establish in me the depth of recognition for all which needs my support. So as you remain on your mat for some time, melting into your resting pose, perhaps taking a few breaths to honor respect and kindness for yourself. Honor respect and kindness towards your physical self, your mental self, your emotional self, and your spiritual self. The whole package. When we give ourselves and honor respect and kindness for ourselves,
we find it much easier not to allow the fear and the stress and the worry to be the controller of our actions and words towards other people. It begins with respecting and honoring ourselves so that we can respect and honor each other. Melting into the ground. Take as much time as you can in your resting pose. As you're laying in your resting pose and thoughts and distractions come in and interfere, try to pull you away from being in your center, in your bliss center. Think about not fighting the thoughts, not shoving them away and pushing them away and being disappointed in yourself because you got tied up in the to-do list or tied up in some frequent story that runs in your head. And just see it as a thought. See it in some visual way as a thought. It's just a firing of the brain. It's what the mind does. And gently pull yourself back down towards your center. Gently walking away. Some of these well-worn paths in our mind, our stories, we have these well-worn paths. And for me, I visualize them. I used to hike a trail in my childhood. I had lots of long grass on either side. And there was a well-worn goat trail. And I see those common stories and thoughts as that well-worn goat trail. And there I go. I've walked up that well-worn goat trail again. And I just gently see myself walking back away from it. I walk away from that thought. And then I slowly bring myself back down to center. Not judging myself. Knowing that that's what my thoughts do. Knowing that that's what the pattern of my brain has. And I just walk myself back away and come back to my center. Gently, kindly, respectfully, not with frustration, not being angry at myself. I've been meditating since I was 5 years old, and there are days where I have to walk away from those thoughts 100 times over. Practice, practice, practice. I'll go down that path, I'll come back. I'll go down that path. And then there are some days where it's just magical. I walk away from the thoughts and I consider my center. And I stay there for a while, and that's just what it is what the practice is. It's not about getting it perfect. It's not about emptying our mind and being perfectly zen. It's about getting to know what's going on in here. Getting to know, honor, and respect. So we're coming up on that 60-minute mark. If you need to finish up in 60 minutes, bring yourself over to a fetal position on whatever side is calling to. If you can, take as much time as you can in your resting pose. In your resting, in your fetal position, take a little moment just to imagine really honoring the whole of you. The spiritual layer, the energetic layer, the mental layer, the physical layer, the whole package. Respect it for giving you air to breathe every day. You're here in this moment. And then finish your practice coming to a seated position, your hands apart, heart space. Connecting our left and right sides to meet in front of our heart, as if accepting ourselves as whole and complete, precisely as we are.
May you spend some of your day finding little moments to find ways to honor and respect yourself. Maybe just catching yourself every time you start to bring up that inner critic. Every time that little nasty voice inside your head starts to say something awful to you. And just imagine putting up a hand, quietening that little voice down, and honoring the whole package, the whole of you. Showing yourself a little kindness and respect. And may we all know a little love, a little light, and a lot of community. Thanks for joining me.